Hello and welcome to another update video on silver. I think it's time for another silver update, and it is again a structure that's currently frustrating a lot of people. I mean, we are currently dealing with a fourth wave. Most likely it could be a smaller degree fourth wave or this larger degree fourth wave. I'm quite neutral about it. Both of them have clearly defined support levels. The first one, $45 to $46.98. The second one, $41.83 to $44.36. And guys, for me, this is a fourth wave. And the structure that we're dealing with kind of confirms that, because fourth waves are, first of all, frustrating. Then they are difficult to trade. People typically lose money when they try to trade within a fourth wave. So it's a corrective pattern. Yeah, it's extremely dangerous. And so typically in a fourth wave, and we saw it coming, the best approach is for most people just to focus on capital preservation. Yeah. Now, we have a support zone. You could even see this as a large support zone. But let's talk a little bit about the microstructures. And I know that's what most people are interested in. I want to do a bit of a deep dive here into the microstructures for this current wave 4. And again, at this point, I'm not quite sure which one it is, which fourth wave it is that's unfolding. It depends a little bit on, no, it actually does depend completely, mostly, on how high this current bounce goes. Yeah? Because the higher the B wave, the more likely we're going to hold the upper support area at $45. So my thesis at the moment is that we have a 3-wave move down in wave A. And this here is a very complex W, X, Y structure. And in the Y wave, we have an A, B, C. But the thing is, it starts to show some weakness. So maybe we need to think about something different. But this is what I was watching here for, and the price pushed a little higher. Yeah, and that's all fine. But we haven't quite reached here the 100% extension target, which I call the measured move target. That's the $50 level, 100% extension. But sometimes in a C wave, especially a C wave of a Y wave, it doesn't need to reach the 100% extension. Yeah, there's no must to get there. So we're dealing with corrective structures. So I'm thinking, what else could it be? But this is what I've been tracking all week. Basically an A wave down, yeah, a complex B wave. I still don't like so much the structure here with an overshooting X wave to the downside. It's all valid, but the only reason why I'm adopting it is because of the structure of this move up. But I promised you I'm going to watch for, or I'm going to try to identify some alternative structures here that could play out. And I think it really is tricky because there are many possibilities there. Basically, for the count that I have right now, the nearest support area, really just the nearest micro support, and I call it weak support because the microstructures are rather unclear here. So let's say it's probably the most, let's say it's the messiest chart right now from the metals, I think. Really difficult to identify a very, very clear setup, let's say it like that. I don't have a high probability setup. So I don't have a 5-wave move up in one direction, yeah. I don't have a 5-wave move in one direction and a 3-wave move in the other direction. That would be simple. That would be a clear setup. Just don't have that, right? So I think we need to be a little bit careful here. But this scenario is still possible, but we need to see a reaction here to 47.41 and 48.22 next week, maybe when the market opens, to start this or to continue the C wave up. And again, I still prefer a higher B wave. Now, this is one scenario. If we break below support, I said earlier this week that we will then likely move down to 55 or 45 or even lower, because then this B wave isn't really high enough. But I'd like to introduce rather another scenario, because I did some wave count scouting and development earlier today and thought about different alternatives. And another scenario I can see is that the A wave bottomed down here, and we are in a B wave, and then we can still come down in a C wave later. This is highlighted in white on the chart now. I might change it to blue, it's easier to read. it's essentially the same scenario, but we have a different roadmap within this scenario. And again, the height of the B wave will determine where that C wave to the downside will eventually land. And also if it's this wave 4 or the larger degree. Now, in this scenario, we could do this: A, B, C. So that means we're dealing here with a structure where at any point a B wave pullback could unfold. So what I'd like to do actually, I'd like to widen this support area, make it larger, so it captures the blue scenario as well. And this is a scenario in which even after a deeper pullback, we could still get our larger B wave bounce. Yeah. So essentially, in this case, we have an A, B, C, but the A is already finished, and it was a very, very short internal C wave. But essentially, I could give you probably 10 wave counts here. We have to keep it manageable and, pragmatic. We have to stay pragmatic. So we have a support zone 46.23 and 47.62. As long as 46.23 is holding this new, let's say, larger support area, we could still see a larger B wave, maybe, or C wave rally into next week. So some of you will remember, if you watched the previous videos, I have been watching for this B wave bounce over the last week or so. It started here on the 28th of October, but it's really still quite weak. Yeah. And this area around the previous swing high from the 23rd of October is resistance around $49. So we will need to overcome that to reach $50. Yeah, $50 plus 50.86, 51.33. And we can be a bit more precise about the targets once we actually have here a low in place in this B wave support area. So to summarize again, I would still like to see a larger B wave. I think that has come across. Please note that B waves are chameleon-like structures, so the market doesn't have to give us this B wave. Yeah, this is one thing. So I'd still like to see that B wave. The other thing is, or the other conclusion here, the other thesis is that we have not completed this correction. So we're likely going to form a bit more of a complex correction here, go down a little lower, yeah, before this wave 4 completes. So that's the update on silver. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, then check out our stocks membership, yeah, our stocks community. You'll find the link in the description. It's the Patreon link. It takes you to our membership where we cover the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, stocks, but also silver, gold, platinum, and palladium as bonus updates. And yeah, if you're wondering where you can actually trade silver futures, we have partnered with XTB. They are a globally fully regulated global broker. They operate in most regions around the world, and they offer silver CFDs, which closely mirror what I'm tracking, yeah, with my Elliott Wave structures. So you can trade the same market moves without needing a separate futures account, for example. Yeah. So for example, here I've opened the dashboard. You can just type in silver, and there's a silver USD. There are also many silver, let's say, related companies, stocks, miners, and so on. But yeah, you can trade silver CFDs, and you don't need a separate futures account. There are over 10,000 instruments available, from Forex, commodities. You can also trade the DXY, for example. Yeah, there's a CFD for that. Indices, crypto CFDs, ETFs, and so on. And yeah, the only exception right now is that it's not available for clients based in the US, but for most of our audience worldwide, it's accessible. And account setup is quick, deposits and withdrawals are free, and overall, it's just a very clean, professional platform. You also have here, for example, a trading view-like chart tool, for example. Yeah, so you've got trend lines, you can draw fib levels, and you can even use the logarithmic chart and everything. So all of that is here, plus a finance calendar, for example, to see what's coming up, dividend calendars, and so on. So check it out if you're interested. The link is in the comment section, and yeah, it can be useful if you're also looking maybe to open a new broker account somewhere. And if you do it and use our link, then you also support our MCO project here and everything that we do for the community on a daily basis. This is a simple way to support the platform, our network here. And yeah, I wish you a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.